People are starting to practice burial in a soup covered in mushroom spores. What is this about and why should you do it? It all starts when we're living in an age of highly processed foods and heavily polluted environments. We accumulate toxins in our bodies throughout our lifetime. When it comes to burial, most people have two options: traditional burial and cremation. In a traditional burial, the body is drained of blood, injected with formaldehyde, methanol, and other preservatives. The decay of the body is slowed down, but it will decay eventually, and all the toxic chemicals will be released into the ground.
The second option is cremation. Cremation results in the release of soot, carbon monoxide, dioxin, mercury, furan, and other metals. Funeral Consumer Alliance estimated that 246,240 tons of carbon dioxide are released each year due to cremation. However, in recent years, efforts have been made to bring more alternatives of burial procedures that will help but not harm the environment. Jamie Lee, an artist, came out with an idea using mushrooms as a way of preventing toxins from entering the environment. Lee developed a mushroom burial soup, which contains mushroom spores sewed right into it. So when it's put on a dead body, mushroom starts growing on the carcass, breaking down the tissue and then reducing toxins.
Mushrooms are great at decomposing and breaking down dead tissues. Mushrooms also have the ability to remove toxins from the substances they grow on. The process is called mycoremediation. Mushrooms digest and use the toxins, preventing other life forms from the harm that toxins can bring them. Fungi breaks down most contaminants into non-toxic byproducts. With heavy metals, they just act like dynamic accumulators, storing the metal in food bodies of the mushroom rather than completely breaking it down. This is still better than the metal being out in the environment. In conclusion, we can use mushrooms to fight pollution, not only for us, but for the planet's benefit as well. Changing burial culture has the potential to better the earth in a substantial way.
I'd like to talk about environmental toxins in our bodies. We have 219 toxic pollutants in our bodies, and this includes preservatives, pesticides, and heavy metals like lead and mercury. So what happens to all these toxins when we die? The short answer is they return to the environment in one way or another, continuing the cycle of toxicity. But our current funeral practices make the situation much worse. If you're cremated, all those toxins I mentioned are released into the atmosphere, and this includes 5,000 pounds of mercury from our dental fillings alone every year. In a traditional American funeral, a dead body is covered with fillers and cosmetics to make it look alive. It's then pumped with toxic formaldehyde to slow decomposition, a practice which causes respiratory problems and cancer in funeral personnel. So by trying to preserve our dead bodies, we deny death, poison the living, and further harm the environment. I think there's a better solution. I'd like to offer an alternative burial system that uses a new hybrid mushroom that would decompose bodies, clean the toxins, and deliver nutrients to plant roots, leaving clean compost. So today, I'm collecting what I shed or slough off, my hair, skin, and nails, and I'm feeding these to edible mushrooms. It's a kind of imprinting and selective breeding process for the afterlife. So when I die, the mushrooms will recognize my body and be able to eat it. Once it's completed, I plan to integrate the mushrooms into a burial suit infused with mushroom spores. The dendritic pattern you see mimics the growth of mushroom mycelia, which are the equivalent of plant roots. I'm also making a cocktail of capsules that contain mushroom spores and other elements that speed decomposition and toxin remediation. I imagine a new way of thinking about death and the relationship between my body and the environment. It's a step towards accepting the fact that someday I will die and decay. Accepting death means accepting that we are physical beings who are intimately connected to the environment. As the saying goes, we came from dust and will return to dust. And once we understand that we're connected to the environment, we see that the survival of our species depends on the survival of the planet. I believe this is the beginning of true environmental responsibility.